I'm Bill Auten of Auten Claims Management.
I'm Chantel Roberts of CMR Consulting, and welcome to the Art of Adjusting podcast.
Today, we're going to talk about life as an insurance adjuster from the perspective of property, auto, liability, or workers' compensation adjusters. Our goal is to bring interesting topics in the world of claims adjusting to people who are working as an adjuster now and to people who are considering a career as a claims adjuster.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so excited to see you.
I'm excited to see you too. It's been a long time. We were just talking. The last time I did this with you was in May,
Yes,
and here it is. Here it is, November, and
November.
time flies.
Yes, and it does. Because when we were talking, you were like, "Oh, I'm grateful because work is busy. Um, Personal life is busy, and I just gotta step back. I mean, something has to fall, and we talk about that all the time. In fact, Heather and I had talked about that recently with the cat claims. Like, you got to take care of yourself,
Yeah,
you know and so I was fortunate enough to be able to have people step in for you. So I thought what we would do, because it's going to be the Thanksgiving episode, and we've done this before. We do it like every
yeah,
year. We have
yeah.
we have theme. I love a good theme. I love a good
I
theme.
that's what the spreadsheet's all about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I love a good theme, and so I thought, and to ease you back in from being gone for 6 months, we fortunately we're starting off with Thanksgiving, and we could talk about how grateful we are for like everything, and
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
like,
there's a long list too.
yeah, like, how grateful are we both to Sandy and to Heather for stepping in and being co-host. And I loved talking with those ladies.
Yeah, they're great. I hope they'll come back, and then I'll have an opportunity to chat with them also.
Yeah. And I really appreciated them coming in and being a co-host, because the reason why we started talking is this was originally your podcast. And it's just really hard to hold a conversation with yourself. Now,
Yeah, it gets pretty dry pretty quick.
yeah, yeah. Of course, now I talk to myself all the time because
Sure.
I'm a genius. But
Or, or you have multiple personality disorders, so you have plenty of
don't
people to talk to.
don't isn't that like letting HIPAA go and stuff? Like, I didn't even want to let people know that one of the reasons why you were having to step away, and I think we had announced it previously, is that your wife had taken a bad tumble
Yeah,
and
yeah.
had to have surgery. And I think you said that she's going to have her pins removed or something shortly. But
Yep, yep. Second operation's coming up here soon, so she'll be down for the count for a little while there. But boy, what an experience that has been, because the type of injury she has is one of the most common injuries that we get from slip and falls and trips downstairs, and watching an actual reduction take place in the
mm,
emergency room, for example. I read all these medical records. We see the after effects, the long term, PT and disability that happens from it. But I've lived it now, so I've had conversations with attorneys who are representing clients who have this injury, and I tell them, look, I know what this injury is about. There's not much to exaggerate about it. They're bad. We got on a Facebook group. Well, she did. I'm not allowed in there because I didn't have the injury. But if you have this type of injury, you can go into these Facebook groups where it's almost like a support group. So all these people have the same type of injury. They all show pictures of their x-rays with all the hardware, and they brag about how many screws they have in their leg. It's really interesting.
oh, that's nice. My husband, he has a Facebook group that he has joined. I let people know what he has, but they kind of do the same thing. Although he sometimes has to monitor how much he reads the Facebook page because he gets upset. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah.
I'm never going to be well again, and blah blah blah. And so yeah, it's one of those things. But I would also say, you know, how grateful we are for modern medicine to be able to take care of of those kinds of things. Oops, I looked at the wrong thing. Oh well, I pulled up the wrong agenda. Eh, that's
It's
fine.
okay. I have the right one here.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Um, so I would also say what? I know because I usually put it up at the very, very top, but I got so excited about seeing you. I was like, oh my God, because I haven't seen you in forever.
It has been a while, yeah.
Like,
I've been watching you guys though. I've
oh,
been
have
watching.
you?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And you did a nice series on mutuals on
Oh,
LinkedIn.
yeah.
There, that was pretty good.
On LinkedIn. Yeah, so go check it out on LinkedIn. By the way, guys, like, subscribe, comment on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Spotify, especially on YouTube and Spotify, because that helps bring the podcast, the algorithm up. I mean, it, like, literally helps. And I had been asking, I've listened, I don't know if you heard, but I've started listening to this podcast where the woman, the host, would be like, just give me five new listeners, and she'd get 10 or whatever. And so I'm like, yeah, let's just get three new listeners,
There you go.
three new subscribers. And so that's what I want, like three new subscribers. Woo!
Three
So
new.
three new subscribers
Yeah,
to go with the six that we already have.
yeah. I think it's more than six, by the
I think
way.
it is more than
I
six.
happen to know it is, by the way.
But yeah, so talking about what we're grateful for
Right.
as adjusters, now and you can be more empathetic because your wife has suffered this injury, and you know what's going on, and know that people aren't exaggerating, and I think that is particularly helpful.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. When you can kind of feel their pain a little bit, you at least know realistically what they're going through, and being able to demonstrate that I
Hmm.
think helps to grease the wheels a little bit with the claimant or their attorney, just so that
Absolutely.
they understand that you're not coming at this from a place of disdain for them, or that you're doubtful about what they're going through or anything like that. That you really do understand what the pile of doo-doo that they're in right now, and the deal
Yes.
the deal that they have for the next 6 or 8 months or even 12 months. So
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And like you said, treating them with care and compassion always opens doors. And I know I've used this example before, but when Aaron had to go to the hospital, I was very nice to the nurses. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to get ready to pick up my dinner. Do you want me to pick you up anything?" And next thing I know, he had been upgraded to like a semi-private room, and this was during COVID and everything. And so, yeah, I mean, rooms were hard to come by and everything, especially in the ER. So always being nice never hurts anybody.
yeah, and this is not a tactic, by the way. This
Mm-mm,
is not
mm-mm.
like some sort of tactic to try and get your claim values lowered
Yeah.
by any means. All it is being human for a minute, so
Yeah.
that you can
It's
kind
like
of
what,
it's this business is all about relationships, and those relationships
mhm.
exist between you and your policyholders, you and your client, if you're in a business like mine, and you and your claimants or their attorneys.
Mhm.
And you have to be, you're still a person at the end of the day.
Right.
So
And you have to realize too that you do run into the same people over and over and over again. Like you're good,
over and over.
like you said, you're going to run into the same attorneys over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah,
And
a shout out to all my attorneys that are on the opposing side out there in the New York area.
yeah.
Hi, guys and gals.
Hi. Do they listen? Hi. We should have some
I
of
don't
them on.
know.
We should
I
have
don't
some of
know.
them on because I think one of the things that would be a good topic would be how do lawsuits work? Like what's the flow?
That would actually be a great interview for if a claimant's attorney would be willing to come
Hmm.
on.
No,
And this will be my public shout out to all my peeps
yeah.
that I have files with. That if you're brave enough to come on, talk to us about that, I'd love it.
We did have Broden on a couple like yeah, last year or maybe
Yeah.
early this year. I have no idea. But he was a plaintiff attorney. And that was really an interesting conversation. So, again, thankful for our brain trust that is willing to come up and talk with us and share with us their knowledge and everything.
One of the things I had on here, in addition to your what are we thankful for as an adjuster,
Mm.
is I hate to say it, but attorneys. I mean,
Hey, no shade. I am not upset about an attorney at any given point in time. In fact, I have had insureds and claimants who just did not understand what I was saying to them. They just didn't trust me. And I'm going to go get an attorney. And I'm like, I think that's a good idea.
there are cases that we've had that have been so either serious or complex or a combination thereof that it just makes better sense for them to get an attorney. We can't really tell them that. We
No,
can't
no.
really say, you know what, I don't want to deal with you. Go get an attorney. It's not about that. It's more of look, this is, for this claim to reach its logical conclusion, there's so many things that have to happen that an attorney is really the best way. And one example of that is when there's a child, because
Yes.
we have to get a court order to settle it
Yes.
anyway.
The ad
So,
litem. If you don't know what an
yeah.
ad litem is, guys, that is technically we are, and we don't always do it, but technically we are supposed to go to the court and have the court rule that we're doing everything correct, even though we're dealing with the parents and, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, absolutely. And the attorneys who have done this before can smooth the process because it's so hard when you are involved with your house. Think about your house burning down and all your memories and all your clothes and all of this kind of stuff. It's hard because it's personal.
Mhm.
Whereas you and me, we're the adjusters and it's not personal for us, it's our job. And so sometimes having an attorney there can help make this not personal and can
Right.
translate things that are going on. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes the injured party, either property or injury, using the term kind
Mm.
of interchangeably here, but when an injured party is, they need somebody to talk to. They need an ear,
Yes.
and sometimes that's us, but we are adversary,
Uh-huh.
and having someone to represent them is probably the best bet in some cases. Not every case.
Right.
We settle cases directly with claimants
Oh
a
yeah.
lot,
Oh yeah.
So,
And it's the same thing with a public adjuster. Now, I have feelings about public adjusters, and I know that public adjusters listen to this podcast, and they know my feelings because I don't hide those feelings from people. But sometimes the public adjusters help, just like our agents just like the agents they sometimes help just like the attorneys because they are other people who can explain things to the insureds or the claimants or what have you because we work for the big bad insurance company,
right.
so I'm thankful for these guys as well.
At the end of the day, there's adversarial relationships
Mm,
in this business. It's
mm,
just part of the deal. It doesn't make the people on either side of the argument bad people.
No.
And the way that you get to meeting eye to eye is a demonstration of how professional and how good a person you actually are at the end of the day.
Yes.
Because if you're only doing this with to try and bludgeon your opponent, and to be mean about it and underhanded,
Mhm.
it's not going to work out well.
No, no. No, I totally agree with you. And open communication, of course. And I'll
Oh
tell
yeah,
you, with the plaintiff attorneys and the holder attorneys and the public adjusters, I've actually learned quite a bit from them.
yeah,
I recommend to my students that they read Chip Merlin's blog, get on his newsletter, read his blog. And I have learned, I'm like, oh, yeah, Chip has a point.
hmm,
And I was talking to a public adjuster about ITEL, the the system that you can, or the company that you can send like a shingle to or some carpet to, and they can tell you like, yeah, there's this place over here where you can go get the remnants of this carpet so that you don't have to get all new carpet or all new shingles or whatever. And they were pointing out that there are some issues with that, being that the contractor usually goes to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever and gets a contractor discount. But if they have to order it from, I don't know, Spokane, Washington, because that's where the remnants of the tile or whatever are, they have to pay shipping, they don't get the refund. So it actually does cost more. And so then we as adjusters have to balance that out. And I'm like, wow, you know what? This is a good point. I've never thought about that. So,
yeah. That comes up quite a bit actually.
I'm thankful for these sorts of open communications. So,
Yeah,
yeah. So what else? The listeners and guests who have joined the podcast, we've thanked them. Our co-hosts, thanked them.
I have here insurers who recognize the need for quality investigations
Mm,
because those are the folks that send us business, and they've
mm,
done so remarkably well in 2025. So
mm-hmm.
it was just amazing
Yeah,
and continues to be. So
absolutely. I am continuously grateful for all of the education that people want to get. Like you had mentioned, the module or the thing that I had done on LinkedIn where I was talking about mutuals and shareholders and how insurance companies make money, because I see this thing on LinkedIn all the time where it's like insurance companies deliberately low pay or no pay or slow pay to save money, and it just drives me up the wall. It's a
yeah,
trigger with me. It's a trigger. And yeah,
the whole delay, deny, defend,
yeah. Yeah.
opinion about insurance companies,
Now,
and
does it happen? Sure, it happened. You, in my own opinion, though, never mind. It's just,
well, here's the thing. It doesn't happen intentionally. Yeah, I think it probably does, and where it does, it should stop. It should
yes,
not be an intentional tactic or strategy for a company.
right.
I don't really see it happening intentionally, but you know, to get to the end of a claim,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things have to happen.
Right.
And that's just the process, and that process is in place is in place to ensure that everything is fair.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we didn't have that, there would just be an ATM machine with an unlimited
Mm-hmm.
amounts of money available, that people would just go to, and just we
And
can't have that either. So
no, and let's talk about that too, because then our insurance premiums would be unaffordable.
right,
It really is all tied together. And
right,
one of the things that my class said to me this this past Tuesday when I had class, because I asked him again, I'm like, remember, there are like four, five, six, depending on which book you use, reasons why we have exclusions in the policy. And I said, what are some of those exclusions? Yell them out to me because we studied that last semester. And so they were doing that. And one of the students typed in the chat saying how grateful she was to learn that, and how surprised she was at how everything kind of, meshed together. And I'm like,
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah, but we just don't teach that, unfortunately. Not that necessarily claims adjusters need to know that, because it's not going to come up that often in your conversation, except to say, what does my premium pay for? What am I paying premiums for? Blah, blah, blah. And the answer is usually covered claims. Just not
Something
this
very
one. But
specific. Yeah,
yeah,
it's paying for something very specific. And
exactly.
I mean, if you look at some of the exclusions, I'll take the liability side. So there's an employee exclusion on the general liability side.
Mm-hmm.
That means if you're a business and your employee gets hurt, your general liability coverage is not going to apply there.
Right.
But it does apply workers' comp. So you got to pay,
Mm-hmm.
if you wanted the GL policy to cover employees,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe we should do away with workers' comp and it all goes under the GL. And your GL premiums would
Sky.
reflect that. They would
Right.
be,
It would take
so
you would take your workers' comp premiums and then apply them to your,
and they would
GL.
probably be double because workers' comp has its own set of rules and exclusions and limitations and stuff, and that's to
Mm-hmm.
keep the premiums affordable.
Mm-hmm.
So it all does. Flood is another one. Your flood exclusion is on your homeowner's policy. Well, why do I buy insurance? Well, you buy it for the other stuff that could
Mm-hmm.
happen to your house. If you want flood coverage, you have to pay extra on a different policy, and there's a vehicle for that. You just have to go find it.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
now, not
Exactly.
everything, and not everything can be insured. Lloyd's of London does a pretty good job of insuring some weird stuff, but
Weird. Yep.
you can't insure for
War. War.
bad cooking, war. Yep, yeah.
I don't know though.
Um,
I mean, bad cooking can turn into a fire and a smoke.
right,
If
right.
I'm cooking, then it could probably be covered, because there would be
Probably
smoke
right.
damage and maybe a fire. This is why my husband doesn't let me cook. He's like, "No, babe, why don't you sit down? You've worked hard today. Put
That
your
was a
feet up."
terrible example. Bad cooking is covered on so many levels. I mean, food
You
poisoning is
really are
covered,
out of
I
whack,
told
aren't
you
you?
I'd be rusty. Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, you know what? Let's move on to maybe Thanksgiving around the work site. I mean, you are still working. You have been very blessed. You said you've got a new client. They were keeping you busy. What was some of the surprises that you had this year?
So surprises.
Mm.
So
Or
2024 was,
gratitudes or whatever.
yeah, 2024 was the biggest year we've had, and 2025 beat that by 60 some odd percent.
Wow.
So
Congratulations.
yeah, I know, that's a lot to absorb in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
We had been growing maybe 12-15% each year over the past 6 years. This was big, and it
Hmm.
was in a bad year because of Amy getting injured and all that. We moved our office. Thankful for that. We have a fairly large team now helping. We've got four adjusters within the region, and then
That's
we have probably 30 or 40 that can help with field work. So in three different states. So
wow.
that's pretty cool. So
That
I'm
is
pretty
great.
thankful for that. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thankful for that, and that we learned how to manage it so that I don't want to grow again this much
Yeah.
in one space. I want to manage what we have, and grow, get back to our 12 or 15%.
Yeah.
But I am thankful for it, and thankful that we lived through it. You had some really interesting things to be thankful for as adjusters, and one
Oh,
of
yeah.
them is clean photos from field adjusters.
You
So
know, yeah. I
shout
mean,
out to my adjuster friends. If it's dark, use a flash,
yes.
maybe, or at least keep your camera really still when you take the photo
Mm.
because motion blur is a thing.
Yes, yes. And I love again the measurements. I used to do low impact. We had a podcast about low impact claims, and I used to do low impact claims, and it was so important to take measurements. And they would get the tape measure out with the bumper, and that way they would compare the insured's bumper to the claimant's bumper, and you would either see that yes they would match or no they wouldn't match, and so maybe that would be something we need to be looking at you know so that was something that was great with clean photos. Same thing, and I'm sure you get this a lot too, especially in New York, because I think there's special rules about sidewalks and who owns the sidewalk, but then like the city will own the sidewalk, but the store has to take care of it or something to that effect. Well, if there is a quarter of an inch, half inch difference in between the levels, good little measurement helps out a great deal.
Yep.
And if you don't have a tape measure, use a quarter or use a
A
dollar
pen,
bill or
a big pen is a good reference, or
yes,
a penny on its edge.
which we won't have
Or
anymore.
that's
Much
right.
more.
No more pennies.
We're gonna have to start hoarding them, I guess.
I guess so. They'll
Oh
be
well.
worth, in about 15 years, they'll be worth what? 1.3 cents because they're rare.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say like 1.5 cents, maybe 2 cents. I don't know. Not a lot, probably.
Probably not.
Okay, so trivia question. Do you know what the currency is underneath a penny? Like there used to be coins underneath a penny.
I don't.
It's a mill, Mill. And back in the day, of course, our younger listeners won't know what we're talking about, but back in the day, there used to be gas stations which would say, yeah, gas is $1.99. And then there would be a little bitty nine up on the top of that $1.99, like a little bitty nine, like a subscript or whatever, or not a subscript because that'd be bottom.
Like a thousandth
Yeah, like a
is
thousandth or whatever.
right.
A superscript. That's what it's called, a superscript. So, and anyway, that was a mill. And one guy, I have no idea how he did this, how he convinced a bank to do this. But one guy had convinced a bank at one time to give him all the mills that they collected from everybody. And he became a millionaire. Anyway, I'm like, that's a genius idea. Anyway, but yeah, a
Remember that
mill.
movie, The Office?
There's
No,
lots of,
Office Space, I think it's
yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that.
And they did that. They shaved off the fractions of the pennies
Hmm.
in the trades on the
Yes,
stocks or
yes,
something,
yes, yes,
and they and then they burned the building down.
yes.
That was a good movie.
That was
Don't
a good
burn
movie.
buildings down, but
Don't
that was
burn
a good.
buildings down. Likewise, don't be like a gangster and take your printer slash copier out into a field and beat it up with a baseball bat.
Oh, I've been close. I can
I
tell
have
you
been
that.
too. I sit with my printer right next to me, and thank God. Let's be thankful for our technology that we
That's
have,
right. That was on the list too.
like these things that we are talking about right now. Internet that works, claim systems that are up, and I mean, because how unproductive is it when your claim system is down all day long and you can't do anything? But anywho, yeah. So I look at my printer every once in a while, and I threaten to throw it out of my second story window and then take a baseball bat to it if it doesn't cooperate. And then all of a sudden, like it speaks English, it starts working.
Now you're probably too young to relate to this, but digital cameras
Mm,
are
mhm.
are a really big deal. when I first started, it was 35 millimeter. We'd had to
I
take them to the
yes,
developer, and
I
you'd get free
started back then.
duplicates. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I started
and then
back then.
you'd have to tape them all to the photo sheet, and
Yes.
pretty fun.
Yes, yes, yes. So, yay, technology. I remember, okay, memories. By the way, Heather Blevins and I started like the musical version of the Art of Adjusting podcast because we just started singing randomly, but yes. So, anywho, we
How
both
about
remembered faxes.
GPS?
Oh, God, yes, GPS. But we all remembered faxes that would come in over like the thermal paper, and after 2 years, it like all went away.
Fade.
Yeah, it would all
Yeah,
fade.
yeah.
Who knew? Yeah. God,
How
so
many
many.
how many paper book maps do you have in your car these days? Because when I
None.
started this business, I used to have at least three,
Mm,
and then a big New York State map.
mm.
I don't have any now.
No, I don't have any. No, I don't have any. And in fact, it's kind of fun because I do like to do this to my students every once in a while. I'm like, how are you going to find your insured's house? And they're like, oh, you just point it in. I'm like, he lives in the middle of the country. There's no cell reception.
Hmm.
How are you going to find, yeah, you can point, you could do Route 1, blah, 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 but you drive out to Route 1 and it is a cow pasture. What are you going to do? That's the mailing address. But anyway, yeah. So,
SMS messaging, text messaging has
oh, yeah.
been really a game changer because it's been around a while, but
Mm,
I don't think we've been actively using it in my line of work
mm.
until probably the last 4 or 5 years. And
I do
the
have issues with it though. Although I'm I'm turning around to it. Go ahead. I interrupted.
well, from a business operations standpoint, it does a few things.
Mm,
One, it allows for more immediate and direct contact
mm-hmm,
because a lot of people are busy and they're not answering their phone or whatever.
mm-hmm,
They get that text message and they may respond to it at 11 p.m.,
mm-hmm.
which is fine. At least now you've got a trail of contact.
Yes.
The other advantage is you can transmit documents and photos and various things through that medium, and that's been a big game changer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I love about it is when you're dealing with someone who is not a native English speaker, because you can use a translator app and communicate with them that way.
Mm,
I've had situations where on my end, I'm sending them translated messages in their language so that they can read them and they respond and we work that way. In other situations, they like it because they're the ones using the translator
mm-hmm.
and they want to translate and send it to me. And so that's been for our line of work really important.
That's great. My original concern, and it's not becoming so much of a concern now, was that when we were texting people, it wasn't showing up in the claim file. And now, with a lot of the major insurers, the adjusters can quote unquote text, and it immediately shows up into the claim file. So I do like
Yeah.
that. I do like that because that's my main concern is keeping the claim file intact. Yeah,
Yeah. And what we have, we can import all that stuff into our claim files.
that's
So
awesome.
that's, if you're a carrier or any, dealing with claims in any way, try and find a system that'll allow you to do that because it's as valuable as email. I mean,
Mhm.
emails transfer right into our claim files as well.
Yeah. And
And
so, well, I'm sorry. And I was going to say, and so often when we're sending emails to people, originally it lands in spam and they say, oh, we've not been contacted.
right, that can happen.
Hmm.
Happens on both ends and just one of those things you got to watch for. So
Yeah, absolutely.
What else from a tech standpoint? That I think that's all I have.
It's like I want to move on because
Yeah,
I want to ask. I want to do Mad Libs. I think that'd be fun.
Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So fill in the blank. I'm thankful for blank because it saves me from blank.
Ooh. Um, I'm thankful for adequate limits because it saves me from having to tell an insured that they are at risk of an excess verdict.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Yes. Yes.
That's a bad day,
That is a bad day.
when you've got to tell somebody that look, there's somebody got hurt to the tune of X amount of dollars, and you only
Mm-hmm.
have a X amount of dollars on your policy.
Mm-hmm.
It just sends them, into the stratosphere with worry. And but what are you going to do? So make sure you have adequate insurance limits on your policies, people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have an umbrella policy and I just can't get rid of it. I started it. I've mentioned this before. I started it when my two stepsons started driving at 16 because bless them, they didn't have one brain cell between the two of them. And so I just petrified me that they would hit a bus full of nuns and orphans, and I cannot get rid of that. I
You
just can't.
shouldn't.
I just
Yeah.
can't. I mean, I would love to raise the limits, but it's through my underlying carrier, and they only sell 1 million. So please don't sue me for over 1 million, guys, because that's all I got. So
They are affordable too
they are. It's like 300 bucks.
when you talk about the value that you get from that coverage as compared to some of the other insurance products out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this probably every episode, get a renter's policy. If you're
Mm-hmm.
renting an apartment, get a renter's policy. It's the cheapest insurance out there. What is it now? 150 bucks a year.
Yes.
So
So we've just started in class talking about the HO policies, and the students have just started to learn about the HO4. And because, they're like, I don't need to, the HO4 because I don't own the place. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the deal. Do we really trust Bill with cooking? I mean, he just said that we shouldn't trust Bill with cooking. So,
right.
you know,
Well, there are many cases where tenants are somehow related to an injury claim or
yes.
a fire or whatever.
And that's
We
what
had
I
a
point
case
out.
where one tenant, the heat in the building was not controlled per unit. It was like the
Total.
whole place was,
Mm.
yeah, and it was too warm for this couple. They
Mm.
didn't like it so warm, so they left the window open. Well, it went down to 5 degrees, and the radiator located right directly under the window that they left open froze solid, and then thawed out and destroyed the apartment building because
Wow.
with
Where
water.
were they that this lasted so long that they were able to get to? I, I'm just,
They
I'm floored.
they I think it was a situation where they just got up to go to work and just left things the way they were.
Oh,
They may have closed the window, which caused it to heat back up and allow the water to flow again.
mm.
By then, the pipe was already burst, and they came home from work to a flooded
Oops.
building.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And they'll be responsible. Yeah. And I explain that to the students. Yeah. So, what's on your table for Thanksgiving?
Oh, that is going to be traditional turkey
Oh,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, mashed potatoes.
Oh, I love mashed potatoes,
Yeah,
especially when they're homemade.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Probably have
So
sweet
good.
potatoes too, or yams, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cranberry sauce, the regular
The
stuff.
regular stuff.
The
We're
stuff
not
they
a,
see on a Thanksgiving greeting card, all that
oh, okay.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah. We're not a big Thanksgiving traditional kind of, I mean, it's usually just the husband and me, maybe the two kids and their spouses, girlfriends, all of that kind of stuff. So it nowadays it's almost impossible to get a small turkey. It's like 500 pounds, and then you're eating turkey until next Thanksgiving. So we've started doing untraditional stuff like porchetta and
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, and so it's definitely different. And I like that. I definitely like that a little bit better.
We
So,
usually have 10 to 12 people,
oh nice.
sometimes more. The biggest one we had, I think we had almost 30 people here.
Wow. That's huge. Do y'all do the cooking and the hosting?
Well,
Mm-hmm.
everybody brings something too,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So
That's good. That's
yeah,
awesome.
we have fun. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So let's see here. Am thankful for all of our listeners,
Yes.
our six subscribers. Uh, Please share with your friends so that we can get nine. That's what I'm shooting for.
Sure, sure.
Nine.
I have not looked at the stats for a
N-
long time until today,
Yeah, oh
and
yeah, yeah. What do we have?
oh, it's in the thousands. I didn't. I don't know. I don't remember the number.
Yeah.
What I was looking at is the locations.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The
yeah. Those are
the
fun.
cities. Most of the cities are in the U.S.,
Uh-huh.
but there are a lot in Europe, and
Mm.
there was there was this one, and I mentioned it before, that used to show up on every episode, and it was Ansbeck, Lower Saxony.
Oh yeah, the Germany place.
Yeah. So I haven't seen that one
Oh,
on anymore. So if
oh.
you're out there, come back.
Come
Yeah.
back. Maybe it was because you were gone and they are listening because of you.
I don't know. I don't know anybody in Lower Saxony.
Who knows? It could be
Who
that.
knows?
I actually know we kid or I kid about, our six listeners, but I know on YouTube, I think we have like 100 followers or something like that. So let's make it 103. Woo!
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, happy Thanksgiving from all of us at the Art of Adjusting. I do want to tell you next episode will drop on Thursday, December the 4th. And like I said, I've already got it planned for you so that I can ease you back into everything. Is going to be the rules of the road for auto liability, which A, I think you would like. But B, when I teach, or I'm sorry, I don't teach, I facilitate CPCU 530, which is the legal, what insurance people need to know about the legal environment. I always talk about the rules of the road. I have this example where I use the rules of the road. And if you're not an adjuster, they're like, what? This is so wrong. This person is at fault. I'm like, no, 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 no. Do y'all not remember the booklet that you had to study to get your driver's license? The rules of the road, and everybody has forgotten it. So I thought it would be good to talk about the rules of the road again.
Is there a place we could find a copy of uh, that document that you have to study?
I'm sure it's online now.
It's
But
got to
every
be.
state is going to be different. However, I think the rules of the road are mostly,
They're pretty universal.
yeah, universal. Like just because you have the right of way doesn't mean that you should go plowing through an intersection.
Right.
Like there's control of it. For example, the thing that really starts this, because the example is, and this just leads us into the next podcast, the example that I use is a left-hand turn and how a car was making the left-hand turn, and it deals with control of the intersection. And I show these various pictures. Like one has damage in the back of the car. So the oncoming car, the car that quote unquote had the right of way because they were going straight, hit the car that was making the left hand turn in the rear. Well, in my opinion, the car that was making the left hand turn had control of the intersection because they were more than halfway through the intersection. Am I right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and so therefore, just because you have control of the intersection does not mean that you just continue to plow through. You have a duty as the rule of the road to yield.
Last clear chance.
Yes, last clear chance. Exactly. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So I think you could probably just Google rules of the road, or like I know Arkansas, for example, had their book up on the internets, which is always correct, the internets, because it's on the.
I would like to dive into four-way stops because nobody seems to
Yes.
know how to handle those
Oh my
around
gosh.
here.
It's always the person on the right, unless all four of you get there at the same time, and then you do rock, paper, scissors. Okay, we'll talk about that next time. We don't want to
Yes.
spoil all the fun that we're going
No,
to
no,
have.
no.
But yes, I do actually have four-way stops on our little agenda. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So happy Thanksgiving,
Yes. Happy
and
Thanksgiving to you too.
we will see everybody on December the 4th to talk about
Yes, ma'am.
cars and
Right on.
everything. Bye.
Thanks for joining us on the Art of Adjusting podcast, where we talk about life as an insurance adjuster.
If you enjoyed this podcast or this episode, please give us 5 stars and a review. It does help the algorithm pick us up.
Hit that subscribe button real quick and tell all of your adjuster friends to check this out as well. For independent adjusting services, go to www.auton.claims. And for anyone interested in working as an independent liability adjuster, go to the Contact Us tab to join our roster.
In the meantime, you can contact me at theartofadjusting.com for consulting and training purposes.